This video is brought to you by SoccerPro.com, offering everyday low prices on all the latest soccer gear with no membership fees. Don't forget to use coupon code SR4U at checkout for 10% off any order of $75 or more. Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you a comparison video between the Adidas Predator LZ and the Adidas Predator LZ2. Now before I go any further, I just wanted to mention that if you are interested in learning more about the overall performance of either of these two models, be sure to check out the full written reviews on my website, SoccerReviewsForYou.com. You can find links to both review pages down below in the description. And also, if you guys want to check out my video review of the LZ2, I'll leave an annotation to that on screen. Now, as far as the LZ1 and the LZ2 goes, in comparison, there definitely is a difference in performance, and I know a lot of people are looking at the LZ2 design and asking themselves, what actually is the difference between the two shoes? Now, visually, you can see that the Lethal Zone elements themselves have changed in design a little bit, but a lot of people view this as rubber is rubber. It's going to provide the same amount of grip, and it's going to feel exactly the same. That was my first impression, but I have to say, after wearing the LZ2, it is a definite improvement over the original LZ, which is what I'll be explaining in today's comparison video. Now, as far as the uppers themselves go, they're both made from the same hybrid touch synthetic, but the feel is actually a lot different. Now, hybrid touch synthetic is a synthetic material designed to mimic the feel of natural leather, similar to Nike's Kangolite synthetic, but not quite the same in terms of how they feel. Now, it was originally introduced on the first LC model. You can see it does have that kind of artificial leather grain on there, and in all honesty, it's actually a very, very good synthetic. It's very, very thin, thinner than I was expecting it to be, especially how Adidas described it. And that was really my major complaint with the hybrid touch synthetic on the LZ, is that it didn't have that natural softness that I was expecting to get, something similar to a natural leather material. Instead, it had that softness and flexibility on your foot, but when you actually made touches on the ball, it felt very, very direct. There wasn't a whole lot of cushion, and basically all you felt was all the grip from the rubber elements themselves. Now, on the LZ2, it's more or less a second generation hybrid touch. It feels a little bit thicker in my opinion, and due to the redesigned elements themselves that are a lot more low profile and more flowing with the upper, I feel like the touch on the ball is a little bit softer. That natural softness really does come through, along with the flexibility and just overall ability to stretch that you just didn't have on the original LZ, which makes the overall fit improved on the LZ2 as well as the touch, in my opinion. And that's really one of the major differences between the LZ2 and the LZ1, and why I'm such a big fan of the LZ2, something that I really can't say about the original LZ model. Now, the whole attraction between for the Predator Lethal Zones are the Lethal Zones themselves, which are your rubber elements scattered throughout the entire upper. Now, basically, the concept behind the Lethal Zones was actually very, very smart from Adidas. For a long time now, we've been seeing power boots, we've been seeing speed boots, we've been seeing control boots, and basically the whole concept behind the Lethal Zones shoes was to kind of incorporate elements from all of these shoes in one and kind of create the ultimate hybrid. And the concept really, really sold for most people anyways. And basically, I think that Adidas has really improved upon that original design in the LZ2. Now, don't go into buying a Predator LZ or a Predator LZ2 with the mindset that it's going to enhance your skills, because that's not the case at all. At the end of the day, it is kind of a gimmicky concept, but what you really need to take away from what you're going to get out of the Predator LZ or Predator LZ2 is that they provide a lot of extra grip on the ball. If that's your thing, you're going to love the feel of the shoes, but if that's not your thing, then you should probably stay away from the Lethal Zone shoes altogether. Now, you still have your 5 Lethal Zones on both models. Just to start off, I'll kind of point out the Lethal Zones on the original LZ. You have your dribble zone here with these little strips there. Again, notice the very minimal texture and kind of simplicity of the elements on the original LZ. You have your first touch zone, again, laid out in strips here on the top. You have your drive zone or your main striking element going through the top of the foot. You have your sweet spot zone, again, very, very flat surface there. And then, of course, you do have your passing / control element on the instep, which is actually a memory foam insert, just provide that nice soft touch on the ball. Now, on the LZ2, you can see that the designs have changed pretty significantly. The placement is exactly the same, but the overall feel and texturing and kind of pattern that they feature is completely different. Now, you do have your dribble zone here on the outside in this X pattern. Again, they all are three-dimensional, heavily textured, and there's actually breaks in the rubber itself, so it's not one flat surface, so it eliminates that clingy feel that I got with the original LZ, something that some people liked, but I wasn't personally a huge fan of. You have your first touch zone here on the top, again, a lot thinner thinner, a lot more flowing with the upper, and allows for a lot more flexibility as well. You have your drive zone or your main striking element, which is kind of a unique geometric pattern. Again, three-dimensional, has raises, it's lowered in certain areas, and because of these little kind of points it has on there, you can actually feel some of the compression of the rubber when striking the ball, which gives a nice feedback, personally, in my opinion, that I really enjoyed about the Predator LZ2. You have your sweet spot. Again, it's textured, it's three-dimensional, you have all kinds of little shapes going on there, and it's not a flat surface, which is really, really important. And then, of course, you have your passing/control element. Adidas has removed the memory foam insert and replaced it with a couple strips. Again, kind of similar to what you're going to find on the elements on the original LZ. So does this make a huge difference in performance? Absolutely it does. I found like the grip was a little bit toned down on the LZ2 and a lot more manageable in my opinion, which is why I enjoyed wearing the LZ2 over the LZ1. Dribbling wasn't as kind of daunting of a task as it was on the original LZ. I didn't like the clingy feel that it had, and while there still is plenty of grip on the LZ2, I felt like it was toned down just enough to where I found it a lot more manageable and just a lot more wearable in my opinion. Striking the ball in both of these shoes feels absolutely fantastic, but I have to say I definitely preferred wearing the LZ2 over the original LZ. Now the overall fit we'll get into a little bit later, and the last thing to talk about is the stud pattern and kind of sole plate on both of these shoes. They both feature the same sprint frame sole plate. Nothing has changed at all. It's what gives the shoe its lightweight construction and pretty solid feel. I'm not going to go into too much detail on it. It's exactly the same for firm ground models, and it's exactly the same for the mixed sole soft ground models as well. So that's pretty much it as far as the main comparison of this particular video, and I'll move on to a quick weigh-in so you can see how lightweight both of these models are. The difference in weight between both models is minimal to say the least. The overall construction hasn't changed all that much, so for that reason alone the weight hasn't changed all that much either. So for the sake of comparison, I'm going to weigh in both the LZ and the LZ2 in real time. Keep in mind both shoes are a size 9 US. We're going to throw it on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 8.25 ounces. So 8.25 ounces for the original LZ. We'll take that off the scale. We'll throw on the LZ2. And you can see that these guys weigh in at 8.3 ounces. So 0.05 ounces more than the original LZ. That is absolutely nothing. It's not noticeable in hand, it's not noticeable on feet, and for the most part, an 8-ounce shoe is relatively lightweight. So if you're looking for a shoe that has a solid feel while still maintaining a pretty lightweight construction, you're going to get that from either the LZ1 or the LZ2. So that's pretty much it as far as the weighing goes, and I'll move on to a quick on feet so we compare the fit and overall sizing for both of these two models. Alright, here's a look at the LZ1 and the LZ2 on feet. And really what sets apart both of these two models in terms of fit and overall comfort are the elements themselves. On the LZ1, you can see the diagonal elements don't really allow the shoe to stretch in width, which is kind of a problem in terms of creating that comfortable custom fit on your feet after break-in time. It just didn't have too much stretch to it. Whereas on the LZ2, the more natural, thinner shape of the elements themselves, allowing the upper to kind of stretch in all directions, allows the upper to kind of form to your feet and create that custom fit that you just couldn't get with the original LZ. You're also going to notice that the kind of side profile or the lacing system really hugs your foot a lot better on the LZ2, especially with that memory foam insert running through the tongue. You can see it kind of folds over your laces a little bit better and just hugs the instep a lot more closely, in my opinion. Not necessarily more tightly, but it just feels a lot better, especially because they have removed the somewhat bulky memory foam insert. You can see it kind of has some awkward folds here on the original LZ, whereas on the LZ2 it kind of just fits the instep of your foot really nicely and comfortably, of course. As far as the fit and heel goes, it's pretty much exactly the same. They have a fairly deep fit, which is what you would expect from a shoe bearing the Predator name. So overall, the shoe is very, very supportive. When it comes to width, I would say, again, they're pretty much exactly the same. The LZ2 might be a little bit wider because it does have that natural ability to stretch, especially in the forefoot and toe box area. But through the midfoot, it does suit pretty much most foot widths. As long as you don't have an overly wide foot, you shouldn't have any issues fitting into either the Predator LZ1 or the LZ2. As far as sizing goes, I wore my usual size 9 US for testing for both of these two shoes, and the fit and the length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in either of the two models. So that's pretty much it as far as the on-feet portion of this video goes, and I'll leave you to my final thoughts. Alright, that's it for my comparison of the Adidas Predator LZ and the Predator LZ2. If you watched the video, then there is a definite winner here. My favorite is by far the Predator LZ2, and it is a definite improvement over the original LZ model. Like I mentioned earlier, if you want more details, be sure to check out those full written reviews. And on those same review pages, you're also going to find buy it now links with the best prices online, including exclusive SR4U coupon codes to get you some additional discounts if you are interested in ordering a pair for yourself. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. And if you guys could leave a like on the video, it would be greatly appreciated. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest soccer gear. Links to all of my social media can be found down below in the description. And other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.